Good afternoon, everybody. Colin here with Techout. Today I'm going to be cleaning out my PC. It is getting quite dusty. As you can see from the side here, it's got a lot of exterior dust, a lot of dust on the top and stuff like that, just all around the case. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe it down. I don't have any canned air on me, but the inside isn't too dusty, so I'm not too worried about that. It's mostly just going to be cleaning up the exterior. I did have it on the floor, so I am going to be putting it back up on my desk. So I'm just going to give it a good wipe down, clean out the dust filters and stuff like that. This case does have filters on it, so not a lot of the dust has made it inside. It's actually pretty clean in there. Everything is liquid cooled. CPU is liquid cooled. Graphics card is liquid and air cooled. It is a EVGA GeForce GTX 1080 hybrid. So it does have the liquid cooler on the back here and the air cooler on the top here, or the liquid cooler on the top there for the CPU. And then I have two intake fans on the front of the case up here. I was actually looking to see if I could get rid of this down here, which you can take out. I was going to see if I could put that down there, but this air cooler, this liquid cooler actually won't fit on the front of the case, so it's going to have to stay up top there. Everything does seem to be pretty clean in here still, so we should be all good to go with that. The fans don't seem to be too dirty. Like I said, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull off the dust filter here and clean that out real quick. There's also one on the front for the front fan, which is pretty dirty, so I'm going to clean those out real quick and come back. Okay, so that was pretty easy to clean off there. No big deal. It just wiped down. Obviously, you don't want to use a vacuum in a computer because it will generate static electricity, which is not a good thing. Let's see, I got to remember how to take the front one off. Nope. Actually have to take the front panel off for this one. So let me take that front panel off real quick and I'll pull that one out and clean it off. It's hard to see on camera, but there is a big old dust circle right there where the fan sits. So I'm going to take that one outside and give that a good clean up. The fan is on the exterior on the front right here, and then there's one on the other side of the hard drive. So it's a lot more it sucks in a lot more dust being on the outside of the case. Right up on the filter, it attracts quite a bit of dust up there. I'm going to clean that one up. I'm actually going to see about moving this fan to the front as well, so I get a little bit more air intake. Hopefully that'll cool down the CPU a bit. I notice when it's warmer out, and it's a little bit warmer in the room, that the liquid cooler for the CPU, the coolant's a little bit hotter, which tends to not cool the CPU as effectively. So just raising the room temperature about 5 or 6 degrees like in the summertime. On the hotter days, when I'm exporting a video or something like that, it tends to run a little bit hotter. So I'm trying to fix that because it does slow down the exporting a little bit with the CPU. It doesn't thermal throttle, but it doesn't export as fast either because the CPU is having to kind of stay a little bit cooler than it would because the coolant's not being cooled effectively because of the air temperature. Okay, so I went ahead and I got that fan mounted up on the front there. So got one on the top, one on the bottom now. I do plan on upgrading this PC here soon. It's actually, I guess, going to be a rebuild. Haven't had any problems with this one. I've had this one for about a year now. It's got the i7 7700K in it. But what I plan on do is probably taking the power supply, the graphics card, and the RAM. And I may be upgrading to something like an i9, just the base i9. I think it's an 8-core or a 10-core, I can't remember which one it is. But the lowest i9 you can get, upgrading to an i9 and a new motherboard, and then taking everything else. The only thing that wouldn't work with it would be the CPU cooler and the motherboard. I'd have to upgrade those, but I'd take my hard drive and my M.2 drive and swap those over to the new parts. Just to keep costs down, but I would get a substantial upgrade. I'd be able to keep my 1080 and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back together, but this is about a year later. I actually built this PC about a year ago. So that's what it's looking like after a year. I haven't had any failures or any issues or anything of that sort. The only thing I've upgraded, I went from a 1050 Ti to the 1080. The RAM's the same, hard drive's the same, M.2 drive's the same. I did upgrade the Corsair cooler to the bigger radiator. It had the smaller, I think it was a 240, and then this one is a 280. So I did get the newer version and upgrade to the bigger radiator. But that's what my build's looking like after a year. This is the computer I use to edit everything, stream, game. This is the PC that does it all. This has been Colin with Techout. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments section below. And as always, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe.